Good morning and welcome in, everyone. As we get started in this morning update on this Monday morning, we're fully in the swing of the trading week as 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We get up here on Monday and we see the trading start in the USA, whether it's from the West Coast to the East Coast. We like that 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, because that's when the stock market opens up and that's when the ETFs come back online, and that's when more people get into the swing of trading. As we can see right now, XRP, it's phenomenal. It's up 2.2% this morning, which is a beautiful thing to see. We had the 50 cross the 200, which was a confirmation of a golden cross in the 4-hour time frame. We spoke very highly yesterday. We had a lot of videos out yesterday. I had the morning video, I had a live, I had a short, and I had a smaller video at the end to kind of show a little bit of what's going on with the 5 waves with the Elliott wave, and then going all the way back to 2014. I thought it was an amazing thing that we did. We managed to mark some of these liquidity zones, and if you start looking at this, it's pretty special, because for the history of XRP, basically what ended up happening is we jumped out in 2014 areas, boom. So this was the old resistance top, ended up being the support, right? Resistance, flipped to support, and the structure. Every time we came up here, though, to the top box, rejected, back down to supply. Rejected, back down into supply. Slightly higher this time, but still a supply zone. This time, however, when we broke out, we bounced out, still got rejected by the upper boundaries, but came back into a new support structure, which, holding this area, this could be the start of a parabolic wave 5, assuming we don't give any of this back and we stay above that zone. We've never consolidated over this zone in the history of XRP. In the history of XRP. So this is very, very good news. Yes, that's taking it from a long perspective and going all the way back to the beginning of the chart, but that is very, very good news. And now what we're going to try to do is break into this upper box, but you can't get there until about $2.88. And then once you break out of that, you're into price discovery. Basically, you get over that top box, you're in price discovery. You stay over this box right here. It's very good news because you're consolidating for the first time in the history of XRP's chart above that area, because every time we got tied into that zone, we would come back through, or we came into that box one time and couldn't get out of it in the 21 bull market. So a lot of information there. Definitely watch the live from yesterday, but I want to continue to divulge into that very chart and make it easier and easier and easier to dissect it as you come in here. I am very honored and blessed to have each and every one of you here this morning. It means the world to me to continue to grow this community. We do it on a scale of positivity over negativity, which works wonders. We're trying to take that negativity and the spiraling effect out, and we're trying to climb higher to positivity. So instead of that steep drop down, the negative spiral of negativity, we want to have that positive climb, so the climb of positivity, and then we'll be able to watch this in a better way. We're pretty good on this all weekend. We knew we were going to have a push up. The 50 cross and the 200 was a big signal for us. Yes, we were alerted to the fact of a short-term pattern reversal when we had the 20 cross the 200, which is that red line going through the blue. And then when you see that orange line going through the dark blue line, that was the 50 cross and the 200. That's a confirmation. If the 100 crosses the 200-day moving average, that's a full-blown pattern confirmation on a reversal. And we are very close to doing that right now. We are very close to doing that. We've got our confirmation, but now we have to see how we react in the Monday morning trading. See, oftentimes we'll see a little bit of price depreciation after a nice push up in the morning. But the fortunate thing here is, and we'll talk about this after the intro, we have a chart perfectly set up for where we're at. So good morning, 10:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, April 28th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Some people were messaging, which I love, said, I'm not particularly bullish on XRP, but I love how damn happy you are, or positive you are in that live. It's changing my opinion in that one when it was at 216, and I'm like, well, that's a good thing. We want to change opinions because we felt like even if bearish, we should come up to that 233, and guess what? We came right up to that 233. And I wouldn't say we got smacked yet. We're just consolidating a little bit. Now we need to see how we trade in the Monday morning session, because we know a lot of times it can start out hot, and then for whatever reason on Monday, they kind of like to play with our emotions. So we'll see if we can hold here. The most likely thing, seeing that we have that golden cross, we're always going to want to be revalidated on the 20-day. So to me, we had such a violent push out to 234, 236, that we could come back and try to show support on 223 if we don't get upward momentum. That looks like a little bit of a reversal in the 4-hour, unfortunately. I'm not coming here to be like, oh my God, this sucks. But just calling a spade. That could be a reversal in the shorter time frame. If it is, we'll come try to consolidate on 223. It's not that big of a fall. It's literally 6 cents. So that's what I would be paying attention to this morning. So between the longer output, the longer understanding, and then the short term, we're still looking very bullish. It's just, you get these minor corrections as we continue up. And I'm happy to see us at 229 as opposed to 216, where, over the weekend, or at least how it was at the bottom of the weekend. And then we started to climb. Bitcoin's up $664. I'm only going to focus on Bitcoin and XRP, and then I'm going to show the XRP Bitcoin pairing and explain a little bit of what that means. But Bitcoin right now is up $661, 94,430. Had a little bit of an upward tug, but it hasn't really done much. We're still above that very, very positive level of 93,136. If we stay over that, we can finish pushing this rally up to that 99,700 area, roughly 99,631. And that's the technical target on the breakout, the short target on that technical breakout of that descending triangle. Obviously, it's got a lot more upward potential back up towards 126 if it plays out. But this is what has to happen. These 3 layers needed to break. And so far, it's holding support on the second of 3 layers. So that's how you need to look at that for Bitcoin. There's not much more we can say. It's kind of stuck in the consolidatory phase right now. We need to see exactly how it powers through. I will say Bitcoin, you can take it into the higher levels. We've recrossed in like the daily and stuff, weekly time frame. We are still trying to push. We have a weekly engulfing candle, which started out hot. When I say hot, it started out about as hot as you could start. So if you're asking me how the weekly started, it looks fucking phenomenal. Does that mean risk assets are going to power through? I hope so. I certainly hope so. But I am not a wizard, and all we can do is base it on our chart analysis. So right now, so far, so good. And then in the last couple minutes of this live, we're going to the XRP Bitcoin pairing. And I want to make sure that you understand what that means. And then right before I leave, because this will only be about 10 to 12 minutes. I'm not going to keep most of your time. My son's home today from school. He's doing a lot better, but he was very phlegmy and mucusy and sneezy and little coughy. So decided one day away from school this day. He was up till 3 a.m. too, so it was an interesting night. But he's doing very well. I'm assuming he'll be back in school tomorrow. Kind of a precautionary thing because of what's going around everywhere. So, but anyhow, so we have the XRP Bitcoin pairing up 1.21% at the 2431 sat level. In the weekly, it's trying to make a move. It's just we got to get rid of this topping looking on this pattern. And it's not horrible. I mean, we're not horrible at all. The daily came in an engulfing fashion. We had a nice falling channel on the consolidation. And now we're starting to bounce out. So the biggest opportunity here, we're going to have to get back above that 50-day all the way over here at the top. So we're going to have to clear that 262, or what is it? About 2521 area. But, I mean, in the 4 hourly, we're kind of doing what we need to do. Came up to the 200, right? That's the 2478. Came back down to the... we might come all the way back down to the 20 to 2376. We're just trying to hold this layer. Eventually, we'll try to push over that 4 hourly. We have a nice reversal set up. And unless we lose that low, we're actually setting up in a pretty nice area. I think the live tonight's going to be spectacular. We got so much information we're going to need to talk about tonight that I don't think you're going to want to miss that tonight. You know, we've been just having some phenomenal lives the last couple of days. The content, I've been very appreciative. I've been very appreciative of the feedback. And I'm so blessed and honored to have this community. Like, you have no idea. I think some of you do have an idea. It's not that you don't have an idea. It's just, it goes deeper than I think a lot of you think. And then Bitcoin dominance, and then I'm going to release this at 64.3%, or up 0.1% or 7 cents. Nothing major, but again, we are at that point where we speculated here in all of 25 that we're going to get a parabolic push, even if bearish, and it could come up to 72%. which means 72% of all money going into crypto would be in Bitcoin, which is astounding. But now it's that make it or break it point. The daily time frame, we're right up there at that 64.1%. 4 hourly is actually trying to power out of here, believe it or not. We really want to see that being a head and shoulders, but it looks like it wants to power through here, which means for whatever reason, Bitcoin's not, it's controlling and commanding a lot of money. I would almost argue that the biggest deal on the books here, if we do reverse, is this big inverse head and shoulders on Ethereum. Left shoulder, head to a right shoulder, break up, and now it's trying to power through. If it breaks out of here, we're going back up. I believe we're going to go back up to like 2,500 if it breaks past. So I think we could have a huge appreciation in Ethereum. Unless we do break down, unless the whole market's ready to break down, Ethereum's probably the best positioned right now for the breakdown from where it's at as far as the depreciation that's taken place. But there's no way that I would, you can look at it. I don't know if I will. There's a possibility I might look at a leverage style trade at some point here, maybe in the near future, but not for spot. So that's what I got, everybody. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you so much for spending this morning with me on this Monday morning. Beautiful Monday morning. Take that positivity as we take control of this week. We're going to let the negativity stay behind us, and we're going to power through with positivity, because when you're positive, it opens up that understanding, that overall emphasis on the enthusiasm and the dedication, the humbleness, the humility, and you try to help others. So that's what we're going to do here. That's the agenda. No more, no less.